Well, welcome to the Corinna Astor Alchemy community. I'm Corinna Astor. So good to have you here. And this is my take two of this video. We are in the middle of Mercury retrograde still, so unfortunately, yeah, Zoom ate my last video, and I'm a little frustrated, but that's okay. Here I am. Actually, I'm not that frustrated. I'm just laughing. It's just been one of those days where, yeah, you just got to roll with it. So yeah, I'm here today to talk to you about the sidereal astrology and the Chinese astrology of the month of April. We're just gonna be getting into the first week or two here. And so yeah, just as a reminder, I don't do tropical Western astrology anymore. I do sidereal. So if you're like, what in the heck? Yep, that's right. It's different signs and some different placements, but I think the more that you listen to me, the more that you may actually be like, okay, there's a lot going on with this that I can see and feel and resonate with, and I hope you do. So, as always, like my channel, please subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with the video this video with a friend if you enjoy it. So. All right. Well, I want to back up just a tiny bit because we just came out of a big solar eclipse. I didn't have a chance to share that video with you or share the energies with you, but we all know that we were in the eclipse energy, and we actually still are because energies from the eclipse last another 3 weeks afterwards. So we had that on March 29th with the new moon. And so I just want to, yeah, just remind everybody that, it can be very difficult energies during the eclipse. And again, if we aren't going through it, somebody else is. And I know I definitely had a very challenging week, which is why I guess I probably didn't get a video up a couple weeks ago, but that's okay. So here I am. And so, yeah, just being really patient and compassionate with people, and also communication errors, as always, continue, technology errors, travel mishaps, and setbacks. So just have your book, handy, have a plan B ready. Just be compassionate and understanding, as always, of others and where they're at, and yeah, so there's also going to be some lovely energies and also some, tougher energies as always. And, I always like to remind us that, there's no good or bad astrology or good or bad energy, rather, in the world. It's astrology just shows us the map of the energies, and the energies are always fluctuating. And so we do always have energies on this roller coaster of life that are going to be challenging at times for us, and then they go back down. And of course, that's going to depend on the energies of the day, how it's going to play out with us and our divine, unique blueprint. And as a reminder, if you are interested in a Chinese astrology reading, I do those. And I also do mini readings if you just want to learn your four animals and your four elements. So either way, I will have a link below. So check that out. It would be really fun for me to share with you. I am not ready to give sidereal astrology readings yet. So I'm just enjoying continuing to learn and sharing here. And so, yeah, I studied Western astrology very in depth since I would say like 2016. I've been really following it since I was 18. But yeah, so I would say that pretty much for the last 9 years, I've been studying Western astrology very extensively up until this last year, the end of 2024, somewhere in there. I just realized that once again, I kind of realized some years ago that sidereal really resonated for me. And I had a really close friend that was a Western astrologer, and I kind of, yeah, felt, I could still see that, and I still can. It can still resonate with me when I can hear, one of my favorite astrologers talk. And sometimes not, and that's okay. But yeah, so here I am, and yeah, so back to the astrology. I don't know why I was tangenting there, but I'm sure there was, hopefully I made my point. But so let's see. Yeah, just I guess sharing why, I do sidereal now. But yeah, so I will share a little bit more about the Chinese astrology energies to begin. And we will be going into the young metal dragon that will be happening On the 4th, so I'm recording this on the 3rd, so we're just a day before. We're still in the rabbit energy month of March. Usually the beginning of the month switches around the 4th. It can be the 3rd to the 5th or so. Just depends on the month and the days in the month and all that. So yeah, the young metal dragon. Again, we talked a lot about dragon energy last year if you've been following me, but dragon energy is very ambitious. It can be very aggressive, so it's very fast moving. Young metal can be also a little more harsh and maybe even harsh with words. So let's again with this Mercury retrograde, let's be very careful with our words. And I know one prayer that I have been trying to do whenever I eat food. With almost every meal, I'm remembering this, but as I'm praying for my food before I eat it or while I'm eating it, I am asking that I have right thought, right speech, and right action today and each day. And I think, the more that I say that, I think the better that I get with my communication, and I want to be a conscious communicator. And so, it's a journey. We're all on that journey, and I certainly as much as each of you, we have all of us have our challenges. So while I teach that, it is definitely something that I've been challenged with in life, and it's getting better, but yeah, I still have a lot of growth to do. So but we're all gonna have to be very careful about that this month with this energy. Luckily the dragon and the snake get along really well. So it's the yin wood snake year, as a reminder for those of you that are new. And so also with this wood and metal energy for this month, starting tomorrow, we are going to have a lot of transformative energy. It's not quite as much as we experienced last month. And again, these things can be sometimes more under this behind the scene, under the surface. We may just not always know where these things are coming from, but yeah, I mean, things may transform. Um, Slowly over time, right? So I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that sometimes, maybe jumping ahead to June, say we may just be like, okay, what happened? But these things were happening in March and April. There was again these behind the scenes, and this is kind of again maybe more in the collective or especially for those of us in the United States, which I think most of you are that are watching me right now. We are in our Pluto return, the USA is, and so, this is a really um, yeah, pivotal time. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. There's, still just a lot of division and a lot of, yeah. And then, yeah, I'm going to share more about the astrology too, in a few moments with I'll show you on the screen here with the energies, but, yeah, so the nice thing about the young metal dragon is that it does have like financial savvy. So, we can lean into that. So I think, really, probably we're all thinking about it anyway. We're working on or are working on the last of our taxes. And so, that's something that I think finances are already on the mind. And so that's something that we're going to want to, yeah, kind of be more savvy about this month. So I encourage you to do that. And that energy will already be there for us. So we can lean into that. I personally think this is a good time to be buying, especially silver or gold if that's available to you. Um, that's just a side note. I'm not a financial astrologer. There's a really good one that I follow if you want to know. I can link it. So just let me know in the comments below. But as another side note, let me know where you're from because I do like to know. So I am in Mountain Time here in the States. This is Boise that I live in. So yeah, let me know where you're coming from. I love to hear. And then yeah, so let's see. So back to the young metal dragon energies. What else? Um, yeah, I mean, big dragon energies are just again very ambitious. So they have a lot of passion, they have a lot of energy. So it is going to be a time to dive into passions, and we can, maybe even just work on that passion project. I'm really getting back into my Spanish studies and excited about that. I have a trip to Mexico, so maybe it can be something like that. And I also want you to be thinking about negotiating. So again, back to kind of again that conscious communication and like how to really, again, trying to make it so that everybody can win. And, if we can really be thinking about that this month. The young metal dragon also is really good in times of crisis. So, anyway, I think there are some harsh energies that I'm going to be sharing shortly too, which again, um, I'm not predicting anything negative necessarily, but um, whether or not we all wanted COVID and the lockdown to happen, it doesn't matter. Like things in the world and the energies are going to create such things depending on astrology and energies that are present. And, unfortunately, we're just collectively not, in this full age of Aquarius yet that we all think and would like to be. I mean, I think there's a lot of people like you who are listening, most of my community, most of the spiritual community, we're doing the work. So keep doing your work and just know that, we're helping rise up the rest of people. But, as we can see and know, we hear a lot of things in the world where there's just still a lot of immature behavior and people just really, what it's coming down to is acting from fear and not love. And so that is something I'm very passionate about teaching is finding our way from fear to love, which we're all working on. We're all being triggered from time to time from our childhood patterns or early adult patterns, all these different traumas and patterns that we have been operating from. And so I do have a weekly coaching group. So I will also link that below, more information. And I would love to have you join if you are struggling to get out of fear, because this is a challenging time. There's a lot of uncertainty, but one of the things that I love doing and sharing is astrology with you so that we can make sense of it. That's what led me to astrology was trying to make sense out of the craziness in the world. And then also knowing that it really can help me to, it's definitely a predictive and, technique that is, surprisingly accurate. And, it can be even just uncanny or disturbing at times how accurate it is. But at the same time, it's also a blessing, right? And so, yeah, this can help us to plan for the good times and to kind of lay low for the harsher times as well. So, um, let's see. I wanted to say, what else is there? The other aspect that's a little bit challenging is this dragon. Um, oh, you know what? So dragon and no, I think, oh yes, I know what I was thinking. So there is a little bit of an emotional harm aspect with this dragon energy month starting tomorrow. So I I do feel that there could be something that could be, a little challenging for all of us collectively. Again, I hope not, and I know it could be more for some of us than others. And again, that just may be more individual. It's hard to say. But yeah, lots of transformative energy. I mean, we're in a snake year. We're here to transform. We're here to shed the old. I also, if you want to know more about the snake year, there's also a replay of my snake energy year, and I'll link that below as well. All right, so let me show you my screen, and I want you to see a little bit more. Oh, hang on one moment. I guess I wasn't at the right place. But yeah, so we're going to get more into the sidereal astrology now and the current energies. So here we go. And the good news is that maybe I will talk a little bit less or go a little bit faster now that this is my second recording. But as you can see, we are in the stellium of Pisces energy. So this is kind of one of the big highlights of what's going on currently. Um, yeah, some of you again might be like, what? If you've been following Western astrology for many years, and I know it took me a minute too to be like, okay, these signs are definitely different. The sun is still in Pisces here in early April. So won't be here too much longer, but we are still in Pisces. We've also had some really big things that just moved, namely Saturn moved into Pisces, and this happened also on the eclipse day. And so that's pretty fascinating because when Saturn changes into a new sign, it's a 3-year cycle or nearly 3 years. Um, and when it was at that 29th degree, before in Aquarius, we definitely were coming to the end of something. And because it has to do with Saturn, it has to do with something karmic. So definitely just kind of notice like what might be ending. And so if there is something ending in our lives, which eclipses often bring endings to things, they can be endings to relationships, they can be endings to um, any kind of relationship. It could be a friendship, a business partnership, a marriage, all the different things, right? And then also it could be an ending with work or, something bigger. So definitely keep an eye on, what's kind of been ending or just noticing as we move forward in the next month or so. The eclipse energies, like I said, will last another 3 weeks. So we're unfortunately not quite out of that little uh, powerful, powerful hole energy. I want to say like it's like a black hole. That's not really quite what I'm trying to think of, but anyway, portal, there we go. But yeah, it is. But really, what happens with an eclipse, like we had in this last week, is that we will experience things to come from this eclipse over the next 6 months. So things will transpire that started during this time. So as I had mentioned in my last video, that we want to keep paying attention to who's coming into our life, new opportunities, new things, because these can really move us forward in new directions and can be really powerful. So yeah. We also just had Mars go into Cancer. I believe that actually just happened today. So we just had Mars leave Gemini, and it was also at that 29 degrees. So fascinatingly, this Mars energy is coming to a close, the Saturn energy is coming to a close, and now a new beginning. Um, a new beginning as of the 29th, and then today, Mars into Cancer, new beginning. Now, Mars is still retrograde in Cancer. And I will say that, excuse me, it is not retrograde. Sorry. It is just in Cancer. Okay. It was earlier this year. I got confused for a moment. But anyway, Mars in Cancer is very volatile. Mars does not like to be in Cancer. It is debilitated here, which means it doesn't have very much energy and power. Mars likes to act quickly. Cancer likes to go a little bit slower, is more nurturing, caring, thoughtful, careful. Also is very emotional, and so it really needs to process emotions and take its time with its feelings and so it can be like that crab where it can walk sideways and, not really go head on for things. It can, want to take its time. Mars doesn't like that, right? Mars is just like, let's do this. It's just that warrior energy, really. And so it definitely struggles in this placement, which makes things a little bit more volatile in our lives. We can feel more angry. Sometimes it may just be that things have been bubbling under the surface, but we definitely can feel this, or again, fall into very unconscious communication habits where, we're just saying and doing things that are not the best, right? And so um, yeah, just again, really trying to think before we speak, try to take that deep breath, try to be the better person, leave the room if you have to, all of those different things. We also, I want to talk about we're over here, we've got Mercury in Pisces. So Mercury is also debilitated right now in Pisces. So again, not only is it retrograde, but it's debilitated in Pisces. So just like Cancer, Mercury does not like to be in Pisces, just like how Mars doesn't like to be in Cancer. Okay. Again, Mercury is also a faster planet. It likes to think and talk and do these things quickly. It's how communication travels. It's not just communication and technology. So it's not just what we think, but it's or excuse me, what we say, or what we write, but it's also how we think. And so, um, right now, because it's debilitated and it's been this way for a little while, we've had Mercury in Pisces for a while now. This is a very harsh aspect for our ability to communicate as well. Although, again, it could help us to be a little softer, maybe too, with our Pisces. But just know that also it being so close to Neptune that this communication can be really foggy. We just may not be getting all the pieces, and yeah, things could definitely be getting lost, or we just may not know. We may not have a clear head about us, clear thoughts, or um, yeah, be very changeable with our mind right now with this energy so close to Neptune. So yeah, it's interesting times and a little bit of tough energy. We have this conjunction with Rahu and Venus. That this was started yesterday and is also going through today. And Rahu is also called the South Node. It's the tail of the dragon. And this is when it's conjunct with Venus, this creates an ability for us to want to really fall back into the pleasures of life and maybe overindulging. And so, especially be careful if you are maybe, you're trying to work on your addiction, and you may find yourself slipping up, or, just again, if you're in any kind of addiction, right? Even if you're not like, okay, I'm not trying to necessarily do a cleanse right now, but just still trying to watch my sugar, like you may be like really feeling tempted, by whatever that is. So whether it's food or drugs or sleep or sex or, all the different things, this is something right now that we need to be very aware of. So, um, yeah, this energy will improve tomorrow. We won't have this direct conjunction. But then tomorrow, Rahu will conjunct Mercury. And so this is going to be more volatile for communicating, um, or a little bit more tricky with communicating. Again, it could make us want to fall back into old patterns where we could, just fall into that pattern that we did when we were growing up, whatever we witnessed, right? And so I know I and like most of us are trying to continue to heal patterns that have not been for our highest good in that regard. So um, again, all the things that I had already said before, we're just gonna have to be really careful. Um, and then the other big thing to bring our attention to is that we have this trinal conjunction between Uranus at 0 degrees, Saturn at 0 degrees, and Mars in Cancer at 0 degrees. So yeah, this is and this is pointing to Uranus, so we are gonna maybe see a little bit more of a shock and surprise. This yeah, we may start really feeling this or seeing this. Today, this is gonna be this trinal conjunction is for at least another day. Can't remember how many more days, but yeah, so definitely possibly, with Uranus here, there's some shocking, disruptive things, but it's gonna be karmic too because of Saturn. And there could be definitely some anger, perhaps even some more violence in the world. I hope not, but yeah, definitely with Mars and Cancer, again, that's a sign that could be for that. So let's definitely pray for world peace. This would be a good time. I know I've been saying for a while, if you catch 555 to pray for peace. But also you could pray anytime when you see an angel number. I think, whatever you're seeing that day, if it's your 111 or 1111, 333, let's definitely put out prayers, to ourselves too if we're having a hard day. Some days it's like, okay, today the prayer is for me, and that's okay. You are worthy of that, and sometimes that is exactly where the prayers need to go because we are the change that we wish to see in the world, right? I know you all know this, so the other thing that I had started to talk about in my last video and I got a little derailed because my notes were incorrect and I was like, wait a minute, and then I didn't get back to it, is we've been having this really nice mutual reception with Jupiter in Taurus and Venus in Pisces. And so basically, these planets are Venus and Jupiter really talking to each other in a very lovely connection. They were doing this all of March and are continuing to for some time. So, yay that we get to experience some more of that lovely energy. So, that can really enhance beautiful things in our life, or maybe some, again, pleasures. Be careful not to overdo it today, please. Like, really try to wait until tomorrow to not to indulge and do the bad things tomorrow, but just know that, like, the temptations are even worse right now because Rahu is all about um, it's the opposite of Saturn. Instead of having the self-discipline that teaches us self-love that Saturn teaches, it's the hard work and and discipline and putting the time in. Like all the good things that take time are from Saturn, and the things from Rahu are quick and easy. And I learned this from one of my astrology teachers, Lada Doncheva. There's so many great astrologers I followed over the years that I've learned from. I'll have to list them all at some point, but I just want to, give her credit there on that. I know I don't need to give credit on every little thing that I say, but she was just talking about this for this month too. So anyway, anyway, I think with this Jupiter um, in Taurus, again, we can really enjoy some foods and some pleasurable things, sensual things. This could be a good time to get some body work or massage, or I'm going to go sit in the salt sanctuary with a friend tomorrow. So some different nice, lovely things like that. I also had mentioned last video too with the Venus being in Pisces, it's also retrograde still. And we do have that retrograde. One moment, I'll see how long. I think it's through the 12th. Yep. On the 12th, Venus will station forward. So I will say too that again with Venus retrograde, that I do not recommend getting like a new look, like a new haircut or new hairdo, something like new coloring, something that's really new and different. You are more likely to not like it. Also, I would never, ever get a tattoo during a Venus retrograde. Most likely, you will be getting a tattoo removal afterwards. So, yeah, just be forewarned. And then also, again, just because Venus is the planet of love, it's the planet of love and beauty and pleasures, but this is about our closest loved one. And so Venus retrograde really has us start to assess things on a deeper level about our loved one. And is this the right person for us now or anymore or whatever? And so if we are going through a turbulent time or questioning things, that can be normal. And also, again, it can be for our highest good. So, but again, be careful that you're not falling back into some pattern from the past where it's just like, oh, okay, well, this person isn't good enough. I'm just gonna move on to the next person. And it's just like, okay, make sure that we're looking at and doing our work, right? If we're having problems, then are we going to therapy? Are we going to coaching? We've got to look at ourselves too. And hopefully all of you are doing that. So I think most people that I follow are not that we always have to be in coaching or therapy. I take breaks from time to time. We all should and can and do. But, as life brings things up again and we're challenged and things are hard, it's time to get back into coaching or therapy. And it's good for us to know that. So, um, all right. So what else? Okay, talked about, yeah, we've got all the retrogrades covered, the Rahu, just again, this is a murky time, a very confusing time. Neptune is about confusion and illusions. It's also a very spiritual time, though. This is also about us being very compassionate. All this Pisces energy, the highest spiritual attainment, the highest ability to love and be compassionate. We can really come together in ways, in our families and with our loved ones in the world to create a better place. So really dive into your spiritual things right now. If you like to do yoga or if you like to meditate or you like to, all the different things that are your spiritual practice, whatever mindfulness activities you enjoy, definitely do those, get to a new Qigong class or whatever that's speaking to you right now, or read a new good spiritual book. It'll be a good way to escape because we are going to want to escape with all the Pisces energy, but let's find a healthy escape into a book or into a good movie, and not into just something more frivolous or unhealthy, like, overeating or lots of, whatever substance that we enjoy. I mean, a little bit here and there is okay, but let's just be cautious. All right, so gosh, is that about it? I feel like I had more to share, but I think that is going to get us through at least the 7th. Okay, so yeah, that was the other last thing that I didn't say was on the 7th that Mercury stations to go forward. So once again, when a planet stations, it's going to intensify. So more communication stuff as we move forward towards the 7th and then afterwards for a few days too, but it'll start to cool down after the 7th. And, I honestly don't think that we have to avoid all conversations that are difficult. I don't think we have to avoid all signing paperwork during Mercury retrograde. If that's your thing, that's okay, whatever you think you need to do. But I don't think we have to avoid all travel. But just know that, yeah, travel is going to be delayed. Technology issues could occur. Communication issues can definitely occur. There is tomorrow, April, or not tomorrow, but on April 5th, there is the moon conjunct Mars. So I would not have a conversation with anyone that's one of those more difficult conversations. I would wait until after this energy has passed. It's not going to be the day to do it. So, um, so let's be cautious about that. But otherwise, yeah, hopefully, and again, I just think even tomorrow on the 4th, as we have this um, Rahu and conjuncting Mercury, and that's going to go until the 9th. It's going to be a little bit rockier. So doesn't mean again that we can't have any conversations, but yeah, just feel it out, listen to your intuition, and try to use conscious communication principles. So I know we're just all doing the best we can here. So all right, well, that is all that I have to share for now. I want to get into more after the 12th or sometime around in there. We'll obviously have that full moon coming up, so I will be talking more about that actually on the 11th. I will be back soon. But yeah, thank you again for being here. Thank you so much for your likes, for your subscribes. Again, please share this with a friend. And again, I'd love to hear where you're from. How are the energies treating you? Let me know below. And don't forget to check out the links if I can assist you in anything. Take good care, and we'll talk soon.